Yeah, it sure does. It's where I count. Oh, yeah. I'm so. I hope so. I hope so. See ya. See ya. Alan, how was your spring break? Chris said his was really long and he
I was so ready.
was so ready to go back to work. That's what he told me.
I was rather disappointed that I didn't have an occupation or something today. Was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Calendar, of course, you come back from spring break and my attendance question is, high flying or what we do. Of course, most students were no school, sleep. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, God. One of those spectrum or the other, because then everybody else is Florida, Cancun, Florida. And it's like, where's the middle ground? You're either at, home or asleep or not doing it, or you're there.
I went to. Let's see, went to Indianapolis, no. Went to Indianapolis once, went to Greenfield once, went to Muncie twice.
I shared, I don't know if it was my high point or not. I hate the way they smell sometimes. But I went to Cincinnati on Wednesday. Well, we were debating between Wednesday and Friday. Good thing we went Wednesday, because Friday, I guess after the game, some of the things spilled out into the streets down there in Cincinnati. But we went to the Union Terminal, the old train station.
I've been there. It's pretty.
They have traveling exhibits, and the exhibit right now was Auschwitz. So had various things on, so very powerful experience.
It's pretty cool. But Caleb left Friday morning, went down to Louisville. Went to a bad game Friday night, left in the fourth inning because it was so cold. And then they went to the one Saturday, so it was a little bit better. Home Saturday evening. Mr. Longbonds?
Rhyme to you.
Nope. Mr. Longbonds.
Oh, jeez, I must be the.
You're president pro tem, you outright me.
I must be no. I don't do very well with titles. Just here to work.
So is this a special meeting or a work session? Yes. Okay.
Made it.
What happened?
She had Acadia will go 97 a mile an hour for 72 miles.
Huh?
Put my car at 97 mile an hour and go 72 miles straight.
Oh,
Well, they wouldn't do the surgery until I got there. She had this huge blood clot come up in her lungs right in front of her heart. So
oh my gosh.
wouldn't let the blood get oxygen go through her heart. So her heart was stressing out, close to a heart attack. But then she has a DNR.
Right.
So the surgeon wasn't really nuts about doing the surgery because 60% of the people have a cardiac arrest and they have to bring them back. So he wanted somebody there to talk to my mother. So, I got there and my mother wouldn't take off the DNR. And
Right.
she says, I'm not really scared to die. I just don't want to suffer. I said, Mom, you won't suffer if this doesn't go well. So we went ahead with it. She got through it.
Oh,
Heart never missed a lick. And
good.
she's back to Hollybrook and
Oh.
I slept 3 nights in a chair in intensive care, and I'm way too old for that nonsense. Way too old for that.
Wow.
You had this?
You just get to sleep,
You don't have that one.
code red, room 4033. Mom says, what's that going? I said, Mom, you just don't want them to call out 4020. That's all I would tell you. Just don't want to hear that number. Oh.
Alright.
You and your brothers do okay?
Yeah.
Ice home?
Yes, yeah. I don't know if you knew her, Riley's pregnant.
Who?
Riley.
Oh, congratulations.
She ate too many strawberries.
Stop it.
Some of them seeds started to grow with her. Congratulations, Grandma. That's exciting.
I knew,
Podcast.
I've known, but I just couldn't say it.
Well, I would probably notice this summer.
Yeah, you would know.
When I was out checking the cows, I'd probably notice. Cause she's pretty skinny.
Yeah, she's been really sick. I hope it is.
That's supposed to be for a strong pregnancy.
Yeah,
That's what they say. Hard, sickness. Good pregnancy. Oh. Tom asked if he had to be here tonight. I told him he didn't have to. Yeah. And see if he can drive all the way over. So they nicked another water line.
They didn't neck one, it burst. It was a lateral line going to the fire hydrant in front of the elementary school.
Well, it burst.
Old age, I guess.
Oh, so it was just default.
Mhm. Yeah, on the Sycamore Street, there's an 8-inch line on the east side, a 4-inch line on the west side, and I said, I bet it's the lateral going to the fire hydrant out there, and everyone else said, no, we think it's the 4-inch line over on the other side because it's all perking up against the curb. They started digging on the west side, and 2 hours later, they're like, I think it's lateral going to the fire hydrant. So, yes, but no, it's like I was right, but
Vic will be upset.
yeah, oh yeah.
He won't have any coffee to sell.
No soft drinks.
And then the Speedway makes them put new filters.
Filters in each time.
And it takes them 2 weeks to get them to come put
Oh,
the filter
yeah,
in.
They can't do it. Well, have the vendor come do it.
What they had done today is they left the pump running and they had, because we have one tower down to keep water pressure up throughout town, they left the pump running all day unless some fire hydrants blasted flowing water off the ends of some of the lines. And then we had that go down on Sycamore Street and it just started, everything, started going out and then they were able to shut off the east water tower and say, you still have water, and Brian, you still have water.
I had water when I got home from school, but I don't know.
You did, but you don't now. It's all settled on the systems. And then they shut all the fire hydrants off and try to keep it as much in as long as they could. And it's all out.
I need to try to sell water. Hey, I've got to ask you something because he come in and asked me and I didn't know. So Camden, is getting a house there in Hartley Hills.
Yeah.
He got a letter stating that we needed to put a meter in, a water meter in.
It's a deduct meter because they do have our sewage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I wondered.
Yeah.
So, of course,
He's got a problem with his lift station though. Ours went out last summer. They had to have it replaced.
so he's living at Grandma and Grandpa's because the grinder pump, they got to put it
Yeah.
back in. They've had all kinds of issues. So he didn't get his mail until the other day. So he needs to get a hold of you and tell you, he don't even know where that meter, do you know where that meter is?
He needs to talk to Gretchen, just call him, I'll schedule
Cause he doesn't have a clue. He said, I don't think I have
Yeah,
it.
you have a pump, so it'll be somewhere between, the well and, yeah, the water, main water line going to the house somewhere, but, yeah, we'll find it.
We couldn't find, the valve, but they finally found the valve. Everybody's trying to find the valve to the sewage, the shut off valve. Nobody could find it, but they finally found it.
Was it anywhere close to where the map showed, or I mean, the drawing of the,
Oh, it was off a little bit. Somebody ought to drive, when they get moved out there, somebody ought to drive and let him show you where it is, so we get it marked on.
probably should, yeah.
Since
You
it's
know,
ours.
that area, I think I've only been back in that particular subdivision once, twice that far back, cause we don't have, all we have is, the sewage, and that's technically not even ours, but.
So he just, we probably need to locate that on the map, so if somebody has issues.
Yeah.
So see, what happened is they got that fixed, they put back in the grinder pump, then it didn't work, so his plumber said his brand new grinder pump went bad. So they had to run it all the way down to Evansville to the manufacturer, they got it down there and they said the pump worked perfectly fine. So now they think it's electrical problem, but they haven't got the pump back from Evansville to put it back in He's been messing with that, what, Chris, now, a month and a half,
Probably.
2 months, just trying to get his.
I think they were planning on being moved in by now.
Heavens, he thought he'd be moved in last June. So he just better hope he
The
gets.
house sat empty for a long time and.
I said, you just better be hopeful you get moved in before you get married, so you don't have to live with your grandparents during your honeymoon.
World. Yeah. Oh, I know, what? Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get things rolling. Big thing for tonight, I think, is to take away that, several of the things we may not accomplish tonight, obviously, is still preliminary to get things in order and organized and kind of maybe reset on some of the big issues that we've been sporadically hitting through our regular meetings. So with that kind of an open agenda, I did have that in the email with some of the maybe key talking points that we can move forward with. But I think obviously with our discussion there, to start with, Chris, just an update on the water project.
The water project.
I guess in terms of obviously probably not the details, but are we close to completion? Because I know we were.
So all the final connections are pretty much made, so right now what it is filling in the holes, repairing the streets, repairing people's yards, it's that kind of stuff, because as of today, they were able to make all the final connections on the south side. So they did that, and then our crews are working on the water tower, they replaced a giant valve at the bottom of that, so.
I've also done a good job street on the college between Petty and Pearl there. They were storing their gravel and their sand for all the project, and they came through and cleaned it up nice. They had a street sweeper down there, so I mean, hardly looked like there was any real.
We've been, for the most part, very pleased. North Washington Street has just been an absolute mess, and I don't know if there's any getting around that. It's just the time of year the project was and everything, so.
Are all the cut-ins completed on the north side now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the lift pumps in?
Yep.
So they're pretty well just.
Yeah.
Question about the new generator out on Main Street. Is there gonna be a fence put around that or something?
We were discussing that this past week. If nothing else, there's going to be some large rocks put in there. There's a big gas line that goes right underneath where that generator's at. And I know we were concerned with fence posts. Even if we got one close to the gas line and someone hit it in a wreck or something, it could puncture the gas line. So if nothing else, we'll probably be putting in a couple bollards at either end, or maybe even some large rocks, just something like that, some boulder type rocks. Fence, we are in NDOT's right away right there, so I need to talk to Susie Hall and see if that's something that we can do. I know, considering the location and the pedestrian and foot traffic that's right in that general location, there is some concern about the safety of all that without it. So, yeah.
Do we have everything switched over to the new line now? Is that a concern, if the pressure increases on other points in the line, we have issues?
Yeah, unless something occurs this evening when the water comes back out.
Well, you know, our trouble is with all these new lines, they might, and they get them pressurized, we might put a lot of pressure on these old lines and we might have more of that nonsense.
Your plumbing in your house.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I start from one end and just finish, put it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we might have that. They get all that pressurized and it might put pressure on the old lines and we just might have issues.
With that, I've several, citizens just in conversations and that, talking about the timeliness of, we've had so many of those situations where we've had to make one calls and notifications and that. They were discussing, they felt the timeliness of that at points was like, it's one of those things. It's like, well, obviously these are problems that are happening, in real time. It's very challenging to, negotiate that a project that could take an hour might take 4 hours.
Correct, and I think that, whenever we send out a one call, it goes out to 1,100 people, so it's pretty much all of our electric customers, so that's about 300 more people than what we have living in Hagerstown. And so we really try to be careful if we're going to shut off 10 people's water. I know Bob Warner, the Indiana Earthworks guys, would try to knock on those 10 doors as opposed to sending out a one call. We had a lot of people that were frustrated that we didn't send out a one call, but I don't think they quite understood the logistics of that. We've looked at some programs that would have, and we don't have this type of program, but a program that we could connect into our billing software where we could, and if we do this type of project again, or in hindsight could have done it, where you can just basically draw a box around, here's the neighborhood we're working on, and it pulls out those 15 or 20 phone numbers and we'll call them and notify them of that, which that would have been ideal to have had something like that, but we don't have anything like that, so. Yeah.
Does the one call system have, like, obviously you can create the messages, but are there like automated ones that could be set up like just for a rapid push out, like if it was a rapid emergency to say?
There aren't, unfortunately there aren't, it's all pretty much recorded as needed.
Any other questions? Right now? Next, moving to, I would assume the top of the pile would be the building commissioner's job description. What we presented at the last council. We'll start there if anybody has the points. Rick?
I looked at his job description that he had sent. I think everyone should. I think Julie printed that out for everybody. I really don't know everything that a building commissioner does, to be honest, but what he had seemed to be complete. Who's his direct supervisor? I think the planning commission is, right? So it's day to day, it's not supervised, no one's doing audits on whether he's here or not, when he's working, who sets his hours. I would refer that to Chris.
Yeah, he does. If he has a training seminar that he needs to go to, he'll say, hey, Chris, I've got a training that's coming Thursday and Friday. And
Or are you assuming that responsibility is his supervisor?
his day-to-day operations, yes, yeah.
Is that in your job description that you submitted? I didn't see it.
In my job description, I submitted, I don't think that is.
That's the tricky thing. He doesn't have, the plan commission has the overall responsibility of him. But since there's nobody here from the plan commission on a daily basis, with some of the,
We'll put it all back on Chris.
I am a voting member of the plan commission there, but yeah. Mhm.
But is it just like, a department head person where, they don't answer to anyone daily? I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't, just throwing that out there. There's nothing in this job description that says who he answers to. There's nothing in his who he says he answers to. Why is he working on Sunday when the cleaning lady's here? Well, I think even the last building commissioner, didn't they come in on weekends too? I don't know.
But yeah, it'll come in a little bit as needed.
so you don't want him working on Sunday.
Well, you showed me a note today where there's people calling on Fridays. He's not here on Fridays, but he comes in on Sundays and works.
Well, if he's got his hours, then he don't have to come in on Friday.
That's what I'm saying. Who's setting his hours? Does he just set them?
He turned, I had him turn in a sheet, it's. we
No,
have
who's
it
setting
there.
them? Who says what time you need to be?
I think the plan commission approved him. I mean, he's here more than the hours that he gets paid for.
Yeah.
7.
And what times he go home? Point is, there's no one overseeing this.
So
There's no one over, I mean, we've got a police chief. He answers to her and answers to town council as far as his time here.
Okay, you're saying for their time.
Time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
well, he times the time sheet in for you, right? And he answers to the plan commission.
Alright.
But he doesn't have that on
It's not
here.
in here.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I think this kind of caught him off guard a little bit, what he was supposed to do, you
And
know.
then it's not in Chris's that he's gonna be his direct report.
Is that what we want?
I don't know.
I think you want a direct report. Well, if
He
the
can-
plan commission is in charge of that,
He comes to every meeting and gives a full report of everything he's doing, everything he's working on. I mean, if he's gonna report to Chris, then I don't think he has to come to, he shouldn't have to do that twice.
and then, like Dylan said, make him like a department head, and his direct report will be us.
And then for his time would be.
Yeah, Julie, yeah.
Like I said, I didn't see it in here.
Right.
I didn't see it in Chris's where he's gonna be a direct, so he's gonna operate independently of Chris. Chris will not be giving him directions or tasks. And nor should Chris be handling his complaints. They should all come to us. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Plan commission.
yeah, or the plan commission.
Or whoever you want it to go to.
Yeah.
The reason it come to the plan commission is because a lot of things that has to be addressed, like ordinances.
Yeah.
Changing the fee thing, has to originally start from the plan commission and then come to the town council for a vote. So if you reverse it, you're gonna bring him to town council. Town council is gonna tell plan commission, you need to work on this. Plan commission's gonna get a response. They're gonna
Same
bring
thing in
it.
reverse.
And you're just, then they're gonna come back to us and then we're gonna have to vote on it. So you just,
And I think the way that it's been working seems to be working okay.
Are we doing the 2 mile fringe?
That's what I was getting ready to ask.
Based
Well-
on conversations that I had today with the county, his jurisdiction stops at the city limits, including electric and building. He cannot enter people's homes and then inspect electric, whether we put the line in or not. And that came from the guy who runs the place. I know personally, there's a building permit hanging in a county new construction build from Hagerstown. That conversation led to maybe that needs to be refunded if we're issuing building. Because we cannot enforce Hagerstown code outside of the city limits.
And the whole 2 mile fringe thing has never made any sense to me anyhow.
The 2 mile fringe is for land usage and zoning, period.
But the beef that I have with it is the people living in the 2 mile fringe don't have the authority or the right to vote for the council members who oversee that. That's not fair.
I think the only representation they get is 2 people on the, is it
Right.
zoning or?
Well, the board of zoning commission.
They don't, we can't force our building codes outside the city limits
Right.
in the county.
but see, the county sends not clear direction. Okay, so I'm gonna
Right.
take another scenario. You got another one out, side of in the 2 mile fringe. Okay. Basically, our building inspector said that that's not in a 2 mile fringe, but you're in the water, the floodway. We know how wonderful the floodway is. So you better get a hold of DNR and make, so they did. Well, then she got a hold of the county. And I just was in this conversation. The county told her the other day that Tom's gonna have the final sign off on that because county don't wanna sign off on something in the floodway. They don't wanna take
Yeah.
responsibility for it. So now they're putting it back.
Trailer park.
Yeah, now they're putting it back on us.
So
So they can't go both ways.
the county said that he'll manage the floodplain in the 2 mile fringe. Even though they've recently adopted the same FEMA plan that we did, because I asked whether they were going to accept
responsibility from that point forward, and they said, as it currently stands, they would do it in the fringe. The electrical thing permit that they were talking about was the inspection had already been done, so the county agreed to accept that.
Yes,
So they're not putting it back on us, they accepted that because it was already done.
but it's gotta be signed, it's gotta finish being signed off by Tom. Why wouldn't they come? and
Why would
find-
they, if it's in the county, it does not. Tom can refuse to do it because it's outside.
Not his
the
jurisdiction.
So is she gonna be fine? Is she gonna get a sign off?
I think she goes back to the county and says, hey, it's outside Hagerstown's jurisdiction. They're not going to sign off on it.
Well, that simplify a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if we're issuing permits outside the city limits for electric or building, that's a no-go. And if we've done that, then those people need to be refunded their money.
But Chris, didn't Tom had a conversation with the county about exactly that? Maybe Brian will remember that. I feel like during,
About the
A plan-
floodplain.
well, not just the floodplain, but issuing permits and stuff out in the 2 mile fringe, because I feel like Tom has talked to us about that in a planning commission meeting about.
So anyway, I talked to Steve Higginbottom today and he said, no. The
I don't think
jurisdiction.
that was the answer he got.
I don't have it in writing, it was through conversation. And again, I'm not speaking for Steve, but this was the conversation, and I double checked it before I hung the phone up. No authority on electric and no authority on building outside of the city limits. Now, you want to go out and check our work? I don't know. Does he go out and check the lineman's work? Is that his job responsibility? And it's Steve,
I'd say not. It's the county's responsibility.
But it's our electric, I mean, that's been it's what's been laid out here, it's our electric, we have the right to inspect that, but if our people are putting that up out there, does they go out and inspect
I would say maybe,
Joe or whoever does it?
I guess it's just to the pole, right? I don't know.
Because the meter base and the electric, I said, what about meter base? He said, nope, the power to the meter base, and that's where it stops.
See, here's where it would get, Hagerstown Electric Code says any property that's been vacated for 6 months or more has to have an inspection done of the electrical panel before we're allowed to turn the electric back on.
That's-
You know.
So,
That's the same way as,
so Donnie, I'm gonna throw this back, and you know, I think the world of him.
Yeah.
I think the world. So why did they not do a permit on that? Why did they not inspect that outside their 2 mile fringe?
so did they come here and ask for the permit and we issued the permit?
No, I'm talking about the first time it was ever built.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the trailer parks. Okay.
No. I don't know that they ever come here and ask for a permit.
I can't speak to that. All I'm saying is the conversation was, and I wrote it down, the authority stops at the city limits for building and electric.
So if we have complaints with Steve that they're not getting their job done, who's gonna police that?
That's up to the commissioners.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Steve oversees their building inspectors, so I think.
Yeah, that's part of his.
Now, I'm understanding, Chris, when we asked them if they would come over so we didn't have to have one. But they come
I got an
over,
answer to that too this morning, so go ahead.
They told us commercial building inspections only is what they told us.
not do the residential.
Right.
And they did commercial for 6 months or whatever until we were able to find the.
Well, this morning, right after I talked to you, actually before I talked to you, I just wanted to see if things lined up, was that, I said, if we didn't have one, would the county entertain an agreement between Hagerstown and county to do our building inspections, commercial and residential? And that response was, we would be willing to sit down at the table and discuss it.
Okay.
So if that's the case, because he said they just picked up Greensforks.
So,
My point is, we've got a position here that we're getting ready to make full time, that technically is a duplicate service if we wanted to go in and get, the only thing that was brought up was our city codes. Weed ordinances. Did you just go out and measure weeds at one time before Tom came? Who did that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the point is, we got city employees that you can deputize to do our nuisance ordinances. Or I'm not throwing it on the police department, but I'm just saying, if we didn't have a building inspector.
But we do.
But we do, a part-time one, that's been part-time forever. And quite frankly, I've talked to no one in town, from business people to past council people, that says that needs to be full-time. And from what I understand, we're wanting to give him 32 hours. What other town employee gets 32 hours, gets full-time benefits? Anybody?
Didn't we just have an employee that worked in the office that had that?
They don't now. For our
But we still
But we
did.
don't anymore. So now we've got full-time employees such as Chris, who would like to work 32 hours and receive full-time benefits. Well, if he gets that, then why are we gonna make the town guys to only work 32 hours to get full-time benefits? So does anybody see a problem with that? That's huge. I mean, we're making
I don't think
decisions.
we set 32 hours specifically. I think when we had our planning.
This is what I
commission,
see here, 32 hours.
which is what she wrote, but during the planning commission meeting, I think we talked about in between like 32 to 36 hours, something like that. Do you remember, Brian or Chris?
I mean, it was a range, but I think we
Yeah,
can't.
I don't think we were dead set on specific
So
hours.
are they gonna list 40 hours then? We
So
talked about the 40,
will Steve do our floodplain?
not inside the city limits or the 2-mile fringe.
Should we check with John to
Who's
see?
gonna do that?
I guess that's your a building inspector. Now, before we get too far into this, I broke down all the things that he said he did through his report to the plan commission. I came up with 192 tasks. Would anybody care to assign an hour to any one of those 192 tasks? Shoot me one. 2 hours per task?
I have no idea.
I know.
Yeah.
So no time study's been done. We don't know how he manages his time, and we're just gonna throw this guy full-time benefits. When he took the job, knowing it was part-time,
With an agreement from council that they would.
When we
retain after a year,
revisit
right?
it, yeah.
we revisited, but I'm telling you, with shrinking government, shrinking population, both county and city, how do you justify bringing on another full-time employee for a job that can be duplicated, probably cheaper?
Do we know that for a fact?
Have we sit down and talked to
No,
them?
that's what I'm
So
saying.
the door's been
But we
open.
currently have an employee.
Right.
We can't
So
get
we
rid
don't
of him
need to
just
do
because
that.
the county said.
No, we're not saying doing away with it. But when it was brought to council, did anybody look at these numbers and the facts before you brought it to council, or you just thought it was a good idea?
No, hey. I've always thought our insurance is way out of whack and you
Okay,
know that.
I know that.
Yeah, you don't even wanna go there.
So let's
We
get
could
back.
eliminate a lot of our expenses on insurance if everybody would have went my way and just charged the employee more, but we didn't wanna do that, so now here we are.
So let's go back to the 192 tasks that were presented. You want to do 2 hours per event? I mean, how long does it take 2 hours to write a citation out for weeds? We did 27 of those. So if we average out each task that he did at 2 hours, that's 380 hours, then you add in,
That he did it all.
I see 27 wrote down in this report. So 27. But what I'm saying is there was 192 tasks, not counting training hours, 192 tasks. And if we give an hour, 2 hours, give them 2 hours to each one. It's 138 hours involved in all the tasks that he reported to planning commission. He gets 1,508 hours a year. And you're telling me he's burning up all that? The point is, no one's done a time study. No one's managing his time. If it's needed, full bore, let's do it. But we're not doing it. We're just throwing it out there because we think it's a good idea. That is toxic. And that's reckless decision making. We got hundreds of thousands of dollars out here in edit funds that we, right here, voted to do.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to stop
And
that
that's-
way of thinking.
And that's what I put on the agenda for tonight.
I know, but this is another way of doing it.
So-
If you continue to do that, take the year and really keep track of it. Show us. You're telling me he's spending more time here. Where's the documentation? Who's setting the guy's hours? Why does a building inspector need to be in this building when the cleaning lady's here on Sundays?
Why is it such a big deal?
Oh, and so why? But why is he not here on Fridays when he's having phone calls? No one is calling the building inspector on Fridays.
Right, but I'm saying like, if he's coming in on Sundays, maybe it's to avoid the phone calls, maybe it's to avoid all that, so that.
Because he's overworked.
So he can focus on getting the work done. I don't know.
A point, you don't know. But yet we put this out on the table to vote to make him full time. That's reckless. If it's needed, let's do it. No one has brought anything to the table that says it's needed. Then if you add in the training hours to that, it comes up, instead of 380, we have 413, we have 413 hours out of 1,500. You want to add another 10, 20% to that just for miscellaneous? I'm still good with that. The point is, guys, he's got 1,500 hours a year to do our work. And we say there's not enough time, we need to make it full-time. We're doing it to provide benefits. It's not because of time management or the man is overworked,
I would agree.
okay?
Yeah,
Then we're gonna do it.
and
Nobody
then,
argues with that.
But if you're doing that, that's reckless. I want to make the fire chief full-time because I think it's a good idea. I don't have any facts to back it up, I'm just gonna throw it out there. The thing is, when you do this, we have got to be accountable to that. And that is not being accountable. No one, and these numbers are just 30 minutes of figuring. I'm not even telling you that's 100% right. They're on the low side. But I also know that he probably has time that he spends 5 hours on a project. But we have 27 weed ordinances. I don't know what the results of those weed ordinances were. But you wrote tickets, you write tickets, it doesn't take you 2 hours to do a ticket,
right,
right? These tickets, fines, and stuff like that we do, we all know that is not to raise money. That is for compliance,
correct.
right? So it's not about raising money to fund his position. It is about compliance. Are we getting compliance? Have anybody tracked the results of all the things that we said? I don't have them listed specifically. I know there was 27 weed ordinances, but was there other ordinances or code violations written? What was the follow-up on that? What was the outcomes of that? The point is, we have nobody here, you guys on the planning commission can say that these were followed up on and here's the end result of that complaint. Here's the paperwork that says this is the end result. If you're gonna make somebody full-time, when you do a police report, you have an end to it. You file your report, it's done. And when I come back and say, hey, you arrested Bubba last year for DWI, what was the outcome? You look it up, and you tell me. What was the outcome of
Have you
27
asked
weeks?
Tom what those results are?
I don't know, did you?
Well, and
I
my
haven't
question is,
specifically, but I'm saying like even with the police department, we don't ask them what their follow-up is and what,
But if I go ask the chief about the follow-up, he's gonna have it.
I'm sure Tom will either one, remember it, or at least two, have it written down somewhere.
when it comes to the violations bureau, who has the ultimate say in that? Cause I worked for this town for 26 years and nobody could ever tell me that.
Violations of what?
For town ordinances, they did not go through Hagerstown Court, they go through the Hagerstown Violations Bureau.
I don't know. We had that discussion. Somebody was saying about the e-ticket and the whole ticket thing here about the town court. And this was back when they installed an e-ticket and wanted us to comply with it. It was anything that's appealable to the Indiana Supreme Court had to be e-ticket.
Right.
Is a town ordinance? I don't know.
Technically, yes,
I think yes.
but
So if it's technically appealable to the Indiana Supreme Court, it needs to be electronically filed.
yeah, and that's why all of our dog at large and dog barking and all that stuff, parking tickets became e-tickets.
Yeah.
But back in the old days, when, we did paper tickets. By state law, the town attorney is the prosecutor for the ordinance violations. And we had a town attorney at that time, who no longer even lives in town. Eric Miller took a whole stack of parking tickets and ordinance violations to him, so he could start getting lined up to prosecute those, and he lost them. So, I don't ever remember anybody who didn't pay a parking ticket or any other ordinance violation, the town ever doing anything to try to recoup that. And I worked here for 26 years.
Our population has dropped 6 to 7% over the last 15 to 20 years.
Right.
The county has dropped considerably as well. They went from 77,000 down to 66,000. We're continuously, the data that he gave me today were consistent with the number that I didn't go back to 6 or 8 years that you should go back to figure that. We went back 3 or 4, that's all I had available from the county over the phone. They're available to see whether those have increased or decreased. The county's is pretty stable. Ours is pretty stable across the board. We haven't had a big influx. We have nothing concrete where we're going to go purchase land and put 50 new houses at, right? We're talking about it, we can't even get the land purchased. Hagerstown is landlocked.
Yeah.
So expansion here of 20, 30, 40 new houses, it's a wish list. We have to admit that we want it, we need to plan for it for the future, but it's a wish list currently. Point is, we've not seen anything to justify moving a person, except we just want to give you benefits. And I'm telling you, that is the wrong way to make decisions.
But I don't think our justification behind it was just for benefits.
Oh, that's what Brian said.
The benefit of it all was seeing what he has done since he's been here. And the planning commission felt that he was worth investing because of
Absolutely.
what he has accomplished.
But I do believe he needs benefits. He does want it. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, there's no debating it. I know that's what he wants.
I mean, I don't know that he specifically said, I gotta go to 32 hours for benefits, but he wants benefits.
So
It'd be cheaper just to keep his hours the way they are, and if he needs a little bit more money, just pay more per hour and save you more money.
Do we know when he was hired? We have
long
that.
run, Brian, oh, yes, we got to pay into.
January last
January
year.
last.
Not if you just, not if.
Whatever the council,
No,
whatever the
part-time.
council meeting was. that
No,
day.
I'm just saying, leaving part-time and.
And last year was 2025.
It'd cost you less money
Long run.
and help him a little bit on his insurance. I don't know.
But if that's the reasoning behind it, was to give somebody benefits, that is the wrong decision making to make somebody a full-time employee. It's not. And then you're gonna do 36, 35, whatever, but where other full-time employees are required to work 40.
Yeah, I wanna ask Julie one question. I know that people can't get in the foyer before 8 o'clock,
Can't what?
get into the foyer before 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But if most building construction people start fairly early, if they want a permit early in the morning, he can come in at 7 and give them their permit before 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, I mean,
They just have call directly on his,
Yeah.
cell phone for the town, and he does have a town cell phone, yeah.
So I mean, that, it's kind of like if, you own a paint store. Most painters want to get started before 9 o'clock, so a lot of them open up at 7 so that or some of them open up at 6:30 for the commercial people, so they can get in, get their paint, get out, get on the job, get paid. I guess if I wanted a permit, needed one, I'd want it early so I could get going, but I don't know that I have a problem with the 7. I mean, if you want him here every day, then he probably just needs to come in at 7 and leave earlier than 2:30, because you're gonna run out of hours if you want him here every day.
This would be a kickback, I assume, to the planning commission, but I mean, we're basing this off of his 1 year in service. What do we know about the year before that?
Well, what do you want to know
what
about
is-
the year before?
Well, who did I forget? Well, we were in a couple, I guess we would have to
So
go back to
here's
what is
part of the
last.
problem was, we had somebody here that left, we brought somebody else in, so we've got
Right.
1 year that you sent me. And I never asked you exactly why it was displayed that way, but within 23 and 24, you did not send me separate totals for 23 and 24, but you sent me a total for both years of 267 ILPs, improvement to land permits, or ILP, improvement to land permits, and building permits, total 267 over a 2-year period. In 2022, we did 124, and 25, you were showing 151, and that is not hitting the mark with, I don't think, on what his report to Plan Commission was. So there was a discrepancy in that, I believe. Don't hold me to that, please, because I don't.
You said 190 something.
190, I'm showing 151, so there was a discrepancy. And that included the weed ordinance, so Chris.
Okay.
What I'm showing is 151 that Chris gave me. It said building permits and improvement to land permits.
Were there any other
And I'm not seeing, I mean, that's 151 plus 27, nothing's jiving here.
I think
Comes to that.
3 and 2024, both kind of messy years because we got Terry Ford,
Yeah, but I'm
Terry
talking-
Ford was here, Terry Ford wasn't here, Terry Ford came back.
But I'm talking about 2025, we're
Sure.
showing 151 building permits and improvement to land, that's what you sent me. But what he reported to plan commission was not that. I don't think,
Okay.
I mean,
We used a job description when we put notice in the paper for the current hiring, right? So we have that, and that's based off of what the ordinance of the town outlines as building commissioner's responsibilities. And at that time, it excluded any type of code like weeds violation or anything like that. It was just standard question. So then bringing that to street, so he is in charge of weed violations now.
Okay, so it was probably my mistake. I just thought he could go out and look and help, you know, and he kind of took it all.
At one
He took
time,
Pictures and he doesn't send the letters out.
do you send the letters out like Nick used to?
Well, Jamie does it. I mean,
Do you sign them?
I don't know.
Cause I don't know how many of those over the years I have hand delivered. It was just like being a civil process officer for the town. When Nick Jarrett was the clerk treasurer, you know, if there was a grass and weed ordinance violation, or if there was a rubbish violation, he would write it up and I would hand deliver it to the person.
Yeah.
so what I think, there's so much on the table here and so many spokes and wheels, if we want this to be full time. Let's take this year, let's get into it, let's get into the meat of it and justify it. And the guy will have established hours, he's gonna work 40 hours, just like all other full-time employees do. Because that is not fair.
And I agree with that. Yeah.
So I don't care if it's 132, 135, 136. Make him full-time employee, if you wanna create a department head, make him a department head, that's fine. But the thing is, you're gonna have to justify this. And I'm gonna go back to our letting this money leave this building unaccountable. Man, we've done that. And that is just, it eats at me every time we make decisions. We gotta step back. There has to be something on the table that other it's a good idea and the man needs benefits that we would make a part-time employee that's been traditionally part-time forever.
So what's your recommendation?
I would lay it on the table, bring it back, we need to buckle down, do research, we gotta look at these job descriptions, it's not fair to him to tell him we gotta have a job description by a certain day, and we haven't touched it, and we're almost 5 months into it, or 4 months into the Keith did the same thing, he buckled down, he brought us one. I mean, obviously Tom brought us one, and that's not fair to these guys when we give them a deadline and we're just setting up. So my thing is, let's take this a little time, let's justify the means and prove that he needs it.
So how do you want to do that? You want him to submit monthly reports to us?
That's planning commission's job, they're the one that
Okay.
brings this to the council, I mean, that's what you said, planning commission, you tell him, you come out and way to justify it means. And everything, and not everybody's accountable for every minute, guys, that's not what we're looking for, but when you're looking at 900 hours unaccounted for based on the report that was given, not counting the training hours, which I had totaled up with. I can't remember, it was 14 and 11, something else. So 11, 26 and 14, those three numbers were training hours that he submitted throughout the year. There's nothing on there that says how many hours he spent at a BZA meeting. I mean, so there's
I
hours.
assume that got his time sheet though.
I know, but what I'm saying is, no one brought that to the table to justify that this man needs full time, other than what Brian said, he wants benefits. So that would be my recommendation only, is that if this is a full-time position and we want it, then let's do our work and make sure that it's justified. I'm not against making it a full-time position if it's justified.
So Dylan, I believe that if we took this back to plan commission and say, okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, say, listen, town council is somewhat concerned, we're looking at increasing 25 grand
Mhm,
for this few hours.
mhm.
And then there's been some questioning, does he need the extra hours? So it's a pretty extensive cost for a few hours, and can he even fill the hours that he has? And the town council needs us to manage or evaluate his hours more
Mhm.
closely.
So
And I guess.
is that
You're-
unreasonable? And
Are you asking, so you're basically saying that we need to table it for right now?
I would table it or withdraw the motion and bring it back after due diligence is done. Instead of me coming in here like this, doing this in 20 minutes or half a day, let's
So
do
I,
this right.
I think, Dylan, the other thing, because correct me if I'm wrong, Dylan, I mean, I'm a short termer here, but, he's pretty good about in his report telling us when a project is completed. I mean, so you said, well, is it even completed? He's really good. So maybe what we need to do is ask him for, me and you would have it, so ask him for 3 more reports. And we hand them off to them at the meeting. So that you'll have the same thing we're looking at.
And
So Donnie, when you say, well, are these things even completed? He will tell you what task, so you'll be able to see on the report, I did a permit on this. I either stopped workage, it's been inspected, it's fully done. He puts that on it, he tells us that. Now, he doesn't put how many hours it takes for that.
But
Well, and I think something too that's important though is like a lot of the stuff that he talks about, I mean, he does, I mean, I get what Donnie's saying, if this task may be 1 hour, this task may be 2, this may be 5, but I think one of the things that I do see from him is a tremendous amount of thoroughness. And so I know that when he says, I put a work order on this because of this, and this, like, I know he spent more than, I guarantee he probably spent more than an hour on it.
right,
So I think there's a lot of gaps. Yes, I agree. There's a lot of gaps missing there. And I think having a conversation with him, which I don't think, we necessarily have dialed in that deep. But I think having a conversation with him is important. And one of the other conversations I had with him was, with increased hours, could also include increased responsibilities as well. And he was open to that. And I know one of the things that seemed to always be a point of confusion is who's responsible for the grass stuff. To me, if he's the one taking care of, the building commissioner's the one taking care of ordinances and, the, junk in people's yards and make sure the permits are right. To me, it only makes sense for him to take care of those. To me, I think it's written as, I think it's silly that the clerk treasurer would be responsible for tall grass. That doesn't make sense to me.
or let's not be passed off to law enforcement either.
No.
So 27 weed ordinances, there were 2 unsafe notices put out. And there was a stop work order, and it's got in quotation marks official, there were 6. So what's official and unofficial stop work orders?
Okay,
Um,
he stops the work order. Sometimes he goes there, and Dylan, help me out, but sometimes he goes there. And I'm not gonna say who, they have no permit. So he puts a stop work order there, right there.
mhm,
No permit, don't go forward.
Right.
He gets them up here when they get their permit and everything. He takes the stop work order off, which he should. But
Yeah,
I mean, so
so I guess 27 weed notices, I mean, that's fairly significant. I would assume that you guys being on that council would know that those were completed, fines issued, collected, done away with. I mean,
most of them, the town ends up mowing and we send them a bill.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do many. All he's doing is taking a picture and,
Because we never totally put him in charge of
I
it.
know, just saying, there's more to it than what.
So those are weed violations that he found but didn't take action on, is that what you're saying?
He gives it, well, he gives it to Jamie, but.
Okay,
gives it
so-
to me, but whatever, and there's a process, I mean, Jamie sends out the letter, then there's a 5-day waiting
Right.
period, then if they don't do it, then we have to create a worksheet for the town employee to go do it, then the town employee does it, and then we send an invoice, and then if they don't send the invoice, then we put it against their suit.
okay, what are we charged? a chance.
It changes depending, it's an hourly rate,
So
like
what's the
15,
hourly rate?
2.5 hours to, yeah.
So whatever their hourly
It
rate is.
really is just their hourly rate.
At the end of the day, we lose money for every one of those that goes out.
There's probably some yards that's more cheap.
Yeah.
Placement.
We're taking everything else, doing street work to go mow somebody's yard.
And some people like you to do that, actually. So, but are you gonna put a fine on it as well? But once again, let's go back what we said. Julie just asked him to go look him up. I mean, it's not in his job description. So if we want to take it totally to his job description, you need to get it off Julie's.
That,
But we could change the ordinance.
So,
So that,
I guess that's the point. There's a lot of things that I want to do with this that could justify a full-time guy. But there's a lot of things that's left open before we make a full-time guy that knowing our history, we'd make him a full-time guy and that'd be the end of it and we'd let things go. And that's what would happen. Whether we'd like to admit that or not, that's probably what we'd end up doing with it. No one would come back and go, oh, well, we need to change that ordinance. What other ordinances do we need to change in here?
we're trying to work on the one for the maximum of 500.
Yeah.
Well,
And he pointed that out. I had no idea we had a cap of that, and yet, and that makes no sense to me where somebody can come in and build $1 million building and only have to pay $500 maximum in building permits.
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous.
So some of those things need, and we all need to understand, and we all need to communicate that these are not to generate income or revenue.
Right.
These are for compliance.
Yeah.
To meet our standards and to hold the property owners accountable for that. They are not for generating income. So if we go into this increasing, well, we're going to increase this so we can help fund the building commissioner, that is way, way out of line. We need to adjust to make those presentations as we need compliance.
Correct. I agree with that.
And we need to find out what are other communities doing? Not that we have to do other communities, but let's find out where we're at in relation to the town. Cambridge City has a full-time building inspector.
Sorry, I was watching the guy outside. Sorry.
Stealing my golf cart.
That falls under the full-time superintendent.
So they do not have a full-time building inspector.
No.
Okay.
What about county? Are they full-time or are they part-time?
Yeah, I believe it. I'm not going to answer that because I don't know, but my assumption is that Steve Soar is a full-time accountant.
He is.
Well, and who did we lose to him?
He's
Full time.
Is he county or city?
He was at Centerville, but then he went,
He went to Richmond.
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 but I think he was full-time at Centerville, right?
Yeah,
Was
full-time Centerville, full-time at, he's full-time at Richmond. He, every now and then he drives by and if I'm out getting out of my car or something, he'll whip in there and say hi to me.
As I went into this deeper with AI, they said Hagerstown is a stable community with an aging population because they pulled up all the demographics.
Sure.
We're shrinking, we're not growing, there's no plans to grow, our school enrollment stays about the same, they fudge that by letting people join for whatever, like Union did, do it online. But the thing is, these are all, everything indicates we're shrinking. The town is shrinking, not at a rapid pace, but it's shrinking. I'm not seeing the need currently based on just, he needs benefits and the guy may be well worth the investment. But
So now I'm gonna throw the what if.
what,
So I don't know. I mean, you can't look into the future. So he finds somebody that'll pay him more, give him full time and he leaves.
God bless him.
Right. And we get a hold of Steve Higginbotham. And he says, yeah, I'll talk. And after we talk, he says, nah, we can't do that.
Then where are we at? No worse off than what we are now.
You got a building commissioner now.
We hired him. We hired.
But I think a sticking point might be, it's a part-time job with no benefits.
And if every 6 months, we're just gonna have.
If you
turn
look at
over-
Terry Ford, he was hired to replace Bob, left, came back, got mad because the council wouldn't pass an ordinance that said you had to have be a licensed contractor to do any type of work in the
not sure that's the only reason.
Well, that wasn't the only reason, but you know, he wanted to basically do away with DIYers. And, you know, he left again and we were fortunate enough to find Tom. And my biggest fear honestly is that he's gonna leave. All that work that he did up there on North Plum Street last summer, I don't think any of our previous building commissioners would have gone to that extent.
So when another town employee gets his journeyman lineman card and comes in and says, I'm gonna leave because we're not paying him enough, we're gonna buckle to that too?
Well,
That's toxic, Chris.
but that's a decision you have to make.
That's
Because,
what unions do
because,
for the police.
yeah, but
That's
you,
what unions do for the
We sit down
police.
and negotiate.
But you're negotiating, and if you don't, we can walk out, we can strike,
No, you can't.
TSA can, I
No,
mean,
you can't.
no,
they call in
No, you
sick,
can't.
they call in sick.
how many
You're going down something you don't even know.
how many licensed wastewater treatment plant operators have we had since you've been here?
Carrie and Crystal are the one too.
Okay, but in the time I worked here, I can remember like 5 that came here, got their licenses and left for a higher paying job.
5?
So, yeah. The one that was here when I started in 96, lived next door to Kenny Stone. His dad was fire chief. Tony.
No, I mean, but we're gonna start, I mean, I'm just
Yeah,
saying that.
but he left and it was Greg Osmond. And then it was, Brett Skirvin. And then after Brett Skirvin, Carrie, and then Crystal. So that's 5. It seemed like as soon as they got all their licenses that we paid for, they went someplace else.
Well, so let me ask you this, okay, let's just be on this already. So Dylan, you brought the motion. I think I seconded or Chris seconded the motion, one of us did. He's asking us to withdraw the motion to go back to town council to show them these actual figures, what it really means. And then maybe talk to Tom about being more in depth on accounting for his hours. And after a period of time, we'll come back and reevaluate it. Is that what you're saying, Donnie?
I would say that you do it for the year. How are you gonna come back in a couple of months and have valid data?
For the remainder of the year. So then, so I'm just listening. I mean,
Tom's been with us for over a year though, right?
Yeah.
So we could look
You're
at his
doing
previous, we could look at his previous data and compare it in.
Which
months
year?
You had like a year and a half, right?
Which year are you talking about?
25.
Well, the numbers that you were giving out were, what timeframe was that from? Was that from all of 2025? Okay. So now we're almost 4 months
So,
out of 26.
There was based on the report, there was 150 permits for new construction or improvements to land, whatever you see. Improvement to lands was 85, building permits were 65, so we're right at that 150 mark that Chris is talking about, or 190. The certificate of occupancy, I'm not sure what that is. Do you want you guys know in planning commission what that means?
From inspector, that would be a commercial or a usage building like.
Right, on the new stuff.
Subway or-
Only 2 demolition permits.
well, we only demulated 2.
I mean, I don't know because,
We won't have too many of those.
Hopefully.
and then the stop work orders. There are only 6 listed officially, so I don't know, again, I understand what you're talking about. So there were non-official ones that's not being reported, I'm assuming, that, my assumption is the unsafe building notices, there were 2 of those, do we know where they're at?
Well, you know.
450 North Foot one, but that's where
I
the
think the other one was the one we took down.
one
Yeah,
cut down.
yeah.
Okay. And the only other thing that I have here as far as code is 27 weed notices on that. So I don't know, did we mow 27 yards last year? Did people comply? I mean,
But here's one thing that isn't on there that I know he's done because it was in.
yeah, I know that's incomplete. I'm saying it's.
Because, all the junk issues, that's not cars.
Mhm.
He deals with all of them and he'll give us a report. This is the one that was given to me. This is what's been
I wonder
done.
why that wasn't on his year-end report.
Well, I don't
If
know.
That's such a big,
And
if
see,
it takes up a lot of time. it
Maybe
should
we
be-
didn't tell him that he had to just report every,
Say, I don't think he.
I know for a fact he did 2 of those on West Clay Street.
I mean, if we would bring you, if he has a copy of all of his reports that he's given us, if they're saved on a computer, we'll give you all them. He'll put in there where he cleaned up junk.
See, that's another thing, though, just like what Julie has to do with the weed ordinances, because if you read the code, it says that's supposed to be, the town marshal, or, so.
But we put it on him.
But again, it's putting the cart before the horse. If the town code says it goes to the town marshal, we're just gonna throw it on you or him or whoever. Are we doing it the right way?
Well, I'm certainly not, but that's what we chose to do, and you came on here and did this.
I voted for it, probably.
Yeah, you did. I think you was the one that said we should.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It should be. Some of that stuff does not fall onto the law enforcement.
Correct.
And-
Yeah, and we talked about that.
Yes.
And it
needs to
doesn't-
come
and it
on there,
doesn't
but we
fall
didn't-
on-
We didn't change it.
And it doesn't fall on, and Tom's fault that we
Absolutely.
didn't get it
It's
right.
our fault.
Yeah, yeah.
We talked about doing it. And we said, let's do it, but no one changed the code. And now we're,
So back to Brian's point, I think it is a good idea to take it back to the planning commission, justify it a little bit more. And I think there are, I mean, it definitely sounds like there needs to be some added responsibilities. And, you know, with what Donnie is showing, I would agree that there probably needs to be some additional responsibilities, which we've talked to Tom about, which I would say would include the grass stuff and probably a bigger focus on, you know, junk in yards and, you know, all of that, where all that pertains. I don't think that should fall on police, and I think Tom's been doing that. And I think, you know, if he's going to be full-time, he's gonna have these benefits. I think there needs to be a harder focus on the enforcement of all of that, because that's something that people complain about daily. I got flagged down at the gas station about it today, about all, you know, junk at this house on the north side, junk at this house on the west side. So I do agree that it needs to go back to the planning commission, work with the planning commission on the job description, and maybe try to address the issues that Donnie brought up.
and keep in mind, going forward, guys, we are shrinking. We are not growing. Government is shrinking. Our budgets are shrinking, and here we are trying to grow it. And I'm telling you that you've got to take a real hard look at doing that. You talk about, you know, you want to throw the county under the bus or Higginbotham under the bus. I'm just telling you, I had a conversation. He's willing to sit down and talk about that. So I think what we understood before was he would not do residential. He would only do commercial. Well, I specifically asked those questions today on the phone, again, not in writing, so you just have to take my word for it. Is that would be something he would be willing to sit down and talk about.
Well, if they will do, because we talked about that.
I know.
If the county will do our building inspections and do the permits
And all we have to do is our code enforcement, town code.
and throw it back on the police, because we won't have a building commissioner.
You don't necessarily have to throw it back on the police.
Who do we throw it
You
on?
can deputize somebody.
You can have the guys out here riding around in the street truck during the day going, oh, Billy Bob's weeds are getting out of control. Let's put a notice on the door. It's not that difficult. Whatever we have to do to bless somebody, deputize them, christen them, whatever the magic wand is that you do, people can do that. It's not, so that was the thing that he cautioned me about. If county did it, they would not do our code enforcement. But then I offered up exactly what I just said to you, and he says, yes, that is a way. It's outside of the box thinking, and you can. I'm just saying, when it comes to crunch time, I'm not even sure we know how this House bill is going to affect us this year or next year. And then I've learned that there's some other kind of tax that's going away that we're not going to receive benefits from. And we just cannot continue to make decisions like we have, me included, because I thought, yeah, let's get us a building commissioner, make him full-time, get him out here taking care of this stuff, get this crap off the cops. She doesn't have to be out with a yardstick measuring people's grasses. Absolutely, but we gotta justify it, guys. You really gotta find a way to justify it. So when somebody says, what? And again, the whole 32-hour thing, the 35-hour, given a range to be, I mean, come on, that's not how you do that. It's a 40-hour week job, just like every other full-time employee.
So let me ask you this, so, the one thing that we do need to get clear to Helen. Plan commission needs to tell him no permits outside the,
Should we check with John on that first? Because I swear I remember him talking about that.
I mean, I thought he was,
I mean, I don't think Steve, Steve would steer us the wrong way by any means, but
I know there's one place that they were told if he showed back up for the property, to call the county
and
outside the city limits.
and I don't know if we, I don't know. I would say I think that needs to be a question to John.
to John,
Madison.
John Madison.
Yeah. If he truly has jurisdiction in doing that.
Jurisdiction for zoning and land usage in the 2-mile fringe. Hagerstown codes passed by this council is not enforceable outside the town limits. Just like county codes are not enforceable in Randolph County.
And I would agree with that, you know.
What's a
We don't-
code?
We don't have jurisdiction.
A town code, like if we say you can't have pink houses, and we make a code, we pass an ordinance, it's an ordinance.
That would not apply to two.
It will not apply on the 2-mile fringe, it applies within inside the city limits.
Chris? I was sitting I just got on the plan commission. I believe that Savannah Estates fell under our plan commission and our codes, right, our ordinances?
It falls under your zoning and property usage, are the towns, yeah. As far as
Didn't
you
say
can't have a
permits
barn.
for electric, but that fell all underneath.
Land usage
Land use.
and zoning. If it is zoned agricultural and you change residential, that's our bailiwick.
You have a barn in front of the house, and you know, it requires permission.
I guess Savannah Estates had their own covenants. that They had to follow.
They have their own covenants, yeah.
It talks about
Well, so that they're,
So many
they're
square feet.
HOA or whatever.
so many,
Covenant.
so many square feet, has to be so many square feet.
So you live out in that neighborhood. Do you have any covenant that says?
Covenant.
So you have a covenant that says you can't park a camper in the road? Or you can't park it in your grass, or you can't hang
So
into
this
the
covenant-
trees.
Covenants can only cover the property, not the road, not public
We
property.
have one in ours
Yeah, so if you have,
that says a camper.
so if he says. So no one can, that's his street. But you can't park a camper in your grass, like between you and your neighbor's house, or.
Yeah, and there's stuff about like the sheds and types of sheds and where they can go.
Yeah.
Also, that has to be the same color of your house. There's,
So I get that. So those covenants or HOA rules or whatever they are, whatever you wanna call
and
those.
they're deeded with the house.
Yes,
Yes.
as long as it's deeded to
Yeah.
the property.
How's that enforced? Let's say you decide you want to fence this.
The neighborhood
It's,
does it.
it's civil, so if my neighbors all say, I don't like the way your flagpole is put up in front of your house. And we have a covenant that, and I don't think there's a covenant that says that, but if there was, it said you can't erect flagpoles or they have to look like this. They would have to sue me and take me to court for it, is where it's enforced at.
We had a good example on Maple Line. With the camper. One neighbor didn't like, we have a covenants, heavens, I didn't even know we had a covenants. You know, I bought my house there, they don't hand you a covenant, you just buy the house, you don't really look at it. But they got all wound up and brought the covenants out and it was in the covenants and he wasn't up to specs of the covenants and got to be, so.
Anyway, I mean, I get it. And again, let's justify. Let's find ways to, and take our time doing this. We have got to change code. We have to change work. We have got legislative work to do for this. We've got to establish a chain of command, who he really answers to. It's not in his and it's not in his. And his job description is 13 pages long.
No kidding.
I've never seen that.
So we'll take this back. Is that what you and Alan want us to do? I mean,
I would say let's take it under advisement.
How does, because it gets lost in the shuffle, if we give it a 3-month extension, That gets us to June.
April, May, June.
That gives us time to begin all the processes work. Does that feel comfortable?
That would give us 18 months of data.
Because I mean, this is,
Because if you're not having him report the stuff that we're
Well,
talking about.
There's
Will,
monthly reports for April, May, June, and then we would revisit it in July.
and then we will try to get you a copy of all of his monthly reports that he's gave.
because this is a position that has been in flux for the last, 5 years or so with
Right.
in and out. And, hiring Tom was our stopgap to get us somebody that could be full-time and we knew that we could have reliable. So now that we have that, that's something that we can take the data and begin to look at comparisons and finally figure out what this position we want it to look like moving forward now that we have some stability to it.
So in that time frame, also, we're gonna determine what his responsibilities are and change the code and ordinances to take it away from whoever. And
Before July.
Before.
Somebody's got to research what codes need to be changed. Is he salary or hourly?
Not really.
Okay, they're gonna make it salary, or you said hourly, so it's an hour.
His hours.
No, when he goes full time. Is he gonna be paid overtime?
Just be like your other workers, is what you said, you gotta treat him like the other workers.
Well, if we make him, if he's made a,
Who approves this overtime?
well,
Planning commission?
but if he's like,
President, he.
yeah,
Non-exempt.
then he's non-exempt, right?
Yeah. Department head.
Yeah, and then, again, you gotta figure out who, is the council gonna do it? Is the planning commission gonna do it?
Or the phone it on him?
Well,
I think, yeah, you can't. you
With a
can't-
13-page job description, I think he has enough on his plate.
I think if you're gonna make him a department head, then he comes underneath town council, just like this department head does.
I would
just
agree
like
with that, yeah.
You're gonna take that all the way from zoning, planning, or whoever you see.
Well,
Will the planning
if
commission
you're
be
gonna
okay with
if you're gonna
that?
make him a
Probably.
department head, your town council is going to have to give him some direction to take back to the plan.
And we
Take
don't,
back,
we don't have any direction.
so, but take back to the plan commission, then if the ordinances don't line up to what town council's request is, then plan commission's gonna have to evaluate them, make the changes, and bring them back to town council to vote in. Town council can't jump over the plans commission,
So
so.
before July, you guys are gonna have that. And John's working on that.
I think that's something.
Well,
I think from a legislative standpoint, Julie and I kind of have a pretty good feel for what needs to be changed on that, don't you think so, Julie? On the things that we could have, Tom do that are currently written for you or me or.
You'd have the grass and weed ordinance, you'd have the rubbish ordinance.
And talk to Keith to see what they've been charged with doing in the past, because he'd be a good resource.
In the past, the police department did basically all of
Yeah.
it. Jack Leverton, one of his primary duties was abandoned vehicles. But see, that's not just ordinances or state law that backs it up too.
But the police has to keep the abandoned vehicles because they gotta be.
They have to be red tagged and then they have to,
On the street, if
Yeah.
abandoned vehicles on private property, he can still tag them before any enforcement action
Right.
is done. He contacts law enforcement before they're towed.
right.
So to move the conversation forward, I will withdraw my motion to amend the wage and salary ordinance 17-2025.
What's that over here?
And we,
I don't know if we can vote, I don't know if we can vote on this.
I think you can special
So we
stuff.
made this.
Yeah. Open to the public, get it advertised, the public is here. Hi, Lauren, how you doing? Thanks for being here. So,
This was tabled until next week. We just introduced it. So we don't have to take any action on it. It'll just,
okay,
it'll
It'll stay tabled?
It'll stay tabled.
Okay.
that you. So you're just saying no action is sufficing. We don't have to lay it on the
It was
table.
on introduced.
Yeah, it was all introduced. Anybody have the next pressing issues if they'd like to?
Hagerstown Brewery. Getting back to the money that we have put out through edit funds. I haven't talked to, Chris Connell. I don't know him well enough to even approach him. but from the outside, it looks like absolutely nothing has been done with that building. They were supposed to have a soft opening for Fall Festival. And that was $100,000 edit loan. And we put lien on the equipment that they were supposed to purchase, and I don't know if they've even purchased it or not.
So
They're paying it. They're
That's all.
paying their.
Are they still paying? Okay.
They're not in arrears at all? Okay.
And I think-
yeah,
Tom followed up on them and they
Tom followed up.
did do some stuff. I don't have my notes from that meeting.
So Tom followed up. They are starting to slowly put some interior stud walls in, slowly. And they also had their meeting with the alcohol and
Yeah, the
tobacco,
ATF came.
ATF and
That's the
Tom.
big orange sign in the
Yeah.
window we talked about.
And so they had that meeting and it went very well, and they even gave them some suggestions, and Tom agreed with those suggestions. So Tom has spent time there evaluating and seeing that it is, he would say it's slowly moving forward. But as she says, they have not missed one payment.
Good.
So, you know, everything's cool.
And I guess to be duly diligent, have payments kicked in yet?
That was just March.
They made it, or is it not due till the 31st? I forget how we set that
To
up.
the beginning of March, yeah, they made their payment.
Okay. Yes.
I think the most disappointing thing on the brewery we have to stay focused on is the edit, and you hope it's going to create jobs, okay? So they haven't finished their construction, they haven't opened, so consequently, they haven't
Our new staff.
created jobs, and that was the main focus, is to create, that's why you do the edit, you hope that it's going to create jobs. And
So if we do that, like what you're talking about, is there a time frame? Hey, you haven't created a job in the last 5 years. Or the last 3 years, last whatever, but that's a condition of the loan. Can the loan then be recalled?
well, when they've already spent it, how are you going to recall it?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't give them, no, that's simple. If you want, I mean, to me, okay,
I'm just asking, if that was part of the requirements for that and they haven't met it, was there a time limit on which that needs to be met? That's all I'm asking.
well, we probably should have put a time limit on it, you know, going, you know, you've got to have it completed by this. But we didn't. They're making all their payments. We haven't lost a penny. You made some money because you're paying them in, they're paying us interest. And the big problem there is it hasn't created jobs, and that's what you hope, that it creates jobs. And we needed to move forward to create jobs. And I would say the same thing about Antoine's, or I would say the same thing about anybody. You know, it needs to create jobs.
And I know Anton is hiring high school kids to work down there part-time because several of them are my students.
Yeah, and that's cool. It gives our high school kids school.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
Gives them a chance to make money. I'm cool with that.
So create or retain job, correct? Or was it to
I think
create?
EDC, you always hope that, well, it could be retained jobs too, because
Okay.
in Wayne County, sometimes they give businesses money to stay, to retain the jobs, so they don't leave, lose the job. So, yeah, I guess you could say retain jobs, create jobs, but the brewery was definitely there wasn't any jobs there, so it was to create jobs. And I think that's the disappointing thing, is we went now 6 months but and I'm just gonna go back and think, I mean, when we originally did it, I mean, Julie and, well, you was there, Alan. I mean, they don't really believe that the three-way liquor license was even thought about. They was gonna do their craft beer, and then I think they realized that their business plan would be more liable to succeed if they had to triple. And that took them a while to apply for, took a while to get. They've got that, they met it. They've got that now, so
And there's probably timeframes on that, right? You just can't hold that indefinitely.
yeah, I
There's
think.
probably some timeframes on that license.
But Tom did report the last time that he went in and talked to him, there was some interior walls that was going up that weren't there, and so Tom's comment is it's moving forward slowly. I do believe most of the equipment, if not all the equipment, has been bought. I mean, the things that he told us, I believe is down there, is there. So,
Did he ever bring any invoices or anything in? I think that was something we stipulated.
That's how I got the money.
yeah, he didn't get the money unless he brought in invoices.
Yeah, for the purchase of the equipment, I believe.
So, I mean, I know that bothers everybody, but right now the only disappointing thing is it's not creating tax revenue through alcohol sales. And it's not creating jobs. That's what it hasn't done. Everything else, I think he purchased everything that we asked him to. He's made his payments on time. So it's the bad side of it. It would have been nice if you'd had alcohol taxes coming in and if you'd had employees working there, that would have been better, but. And it's slowly moving forward, so I'm assuming it's gonna get there.
So those are all the things that we talked about on that, and I agree with you, they're not. But again, they're not on that one-page application or guide.
Oh, we've all agreed, the application needs to be changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
going forward.
Yeah.
I think you guys need to wipe that application out, determine what you want, and change your application. And like I said, like Julie will tell you, I mean, you're somewhat limited what you can do from here on out because
Because we don't have money, but as this money hopefully gets repaid,
you'll have some.
we'll have some more.
So, yeah, I don't know that is a priority one because you got some time. But yeah, I think it's evident that nobody likes that sheet. It's too vague. And so you just need to look at the sheet and say, hey, we want this more refined, we want this less refined. You put right on the sheet, we're gonna ask for collateral. If you're not willing to give collateral, then you don't need to apply. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. You guys are wanting collateral, so you just supposed to put it out there. And yeah, I think that sheet just needs to be, I mean, heavens, Nick put that sheet together. I mean, that sheet's been together since Nick started that thing 30 years ago or 25 years ago. So I'm sure it's outdated. It needs to be updated.
Well,
And I don't think it's a big deal to do that. I think you just need,
I think we have to know what our boundaries are on it, though. I mean, you were talking about there's some things that you didn't think we could put on there, or.
well, you can't discriminate. That's for one thing,
Well,
for
that's not what
sure.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about putting a lien on a guy's personal property if he's got an LLC. If it's a new LLC under what John says, 6 months or a 12-month period.
Well, if you put, if you, so like me, I mean, if I wanted to look at a loan and I get out the application and the application says that this loan, you're gonna take collateral on my personal property, I'm probably gonna use your paper to wipe myself with. You know, I mean,
That's the way with my LLC too.
I mean, why would I have an LLC and then allow you to? I mean, to me, I would rather go pay 3% more at the bank. And they're gonna take collateral on the business, and if they don't see it's a good business, they're not gonna give me the money. And we should do the same thing. If we don't see it's a good business, we shouldn't give them the money.
Jill, on a side note with that money, were we missing a payment from the county?
They reimbursed us.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
How's that one?
So,
I had that buried in here. About,
yeah.
and whoever brought up the loan, I dug through my notes, found that we were missing a payment, so that's been.
They, yeah. Got it right now.
So when's the will tax go in? Do you know?
Do what?
When's the will tax go in that the county put in place?
Well, we already created those line items.
How much have we got so far for that?
So last month it was like 2,300. This month it was like 5,000, so.
What's weird about that? Have you been taxed? How did they tax you?
My plates were due and.
Oh, so it's on your plates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My plates don't come up till July.
It was a rather substantial increase.
Somebody didn't tell us the truth.
No, they did not.
I told everybody, I bet you my property taxes don't go down $100. And I bet my will, I bet,
property tax don't go down at all.
well, they're supposed to go down a little.
I'd watch.
Yeah, so see, it was, and our wheel tax, I bet my wheel taxes go up $500. So, you know,
Not
I
quite.
mean, your property tax
Well,
may go down, but your assessment will go up, so.
I got 3 vehicles, I got a livestock trailer. Yeah.
Get ready.
I know.
Somebody lied.
No, they didn't lie. I knew it right up front. It's only a lie if you believe it. I never did believe it.
I don't think that worked with my dad.
Everybody's up and running.
Does everybody, it's fixed?
It's real right now, yeah, yep.
But you got a bulletin board.
Mhm. For,
Except me.
except for you and Bill and that.
We can sell water.
Water.
Yeah. So, all right, Dylan and I'll deal with this. We probably need to get Jason involved on that. He's the president. He's the one that really should direct that, but we get Jason involved and we'll get that deal done.
Miller.
Smith, he's the president of the.
So that sounds good. Before we move on to the other, just to finish up with the other, job descriptions, anything else pressing? in that?
The security cameras.
So, IT,
Yeah, so Chris, don't take this as a jab at you. I'm super confused because in your email
Mhm.
that you sent us. Hold on. So it says, I looked for the video footage of the incident. However, Jason, the IT guy,
Mhm.
said oddly enough, the cameras were turned off Saturday morning at 4:42 AM and we're not recording Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
That's what you sent us,
Okay.
but that's not what he said. And he was adamant that, nope, the cameras are working. I've got video footage of it. That does not make sense to me.
You know, and it's going back so long, I honestly can't remember. It does seem like the only part I saw of it was a little bit of. Yeah, I don't know, yeah. I thought I actually did see her, like I said, her head in the mailbox. I could have been thinking of someone else. There's been other times when we've had to look for people's payments, but I honestly thought. Yeah,
Did he bring video? Did we ask him to bring video to show us? I mean, I thought that was
That,
part of our.
that was what
conversation.
he requested.
yeah, he would have been, he came virtual. Now,
And
I do want to make this known, the recording that was posted to YouTube, that is part of the whatever, did not have, it was him alongside us. He wasn't showing what we were being shown on that camera or on that TV from him. It was his face and look, from what people would talk to me about, it looked very unprofessional because he was not.
I heard that
and
too.
It was,
Mm.
to that point, but he did not come to the meeting. He came virtually.
With that put to the past, should we evaluate if there is, I mean, technology just advances by the month. Okay, we've had this system now 3-4 years. Should we reevaluate if there's something out here better?
Well, the phone
Basically.
system's been in place even longer.
yeah, he could have upgraded the system at least twice though. Like if you look at it now, even compared to last fall, it has heat sensor where it will follow people around and stuff out there. I mean, it's. And I'm not real savvy on security systems, I don't go around asking other businesses to see theirs, but
How long can you go back?
I think he said 30 days is what he told us.
it's not real long. It's
I
not.
had somebody come and talk to us in our building. The only reason I let him come and talk because I wanted to hear. It wasn't that expensive. And they tell me if I want to keep it up in the cloud on my phone, 6 years. I can look at every minute, 24 hours a day for 6 years. see everything for 6 years. And it's my data, just keeps popping up in the cloud. I gotta pay for cloud space. And it was not that expensive, and I'm just wondering if we just,
And,
I think 30 days for a town is pretty short.
Because they have what, 60 days or 90 days to file a tort claim anyway?
Yeah.
So we should probably keep it for at least that.
I mean, I think I couldn't believe he said it's kept 30 days. I mean, yeah.
And I don't quote me on that. I can't remember. I felt like I always said that.
when the police chief shows me on his email, all the requests for service,
Mhm.
it's not working, I can't find this video, time, and I mean,
And we were also told that he never received those requests.
I saw on his
I'm
computer, he showed me.
100% agree with you, but that's where my frustration is we get told the camera footage was shut off. That's what we were told multiple times. But then he says, no, that's not true at all. And then we say, well,
Actually, that's not what he said. He said it's a lie.
that's what he said.
A little bit of a difference between telling somebody that that's not accurate information and that they're lying.
So did he show the video?
No, he did not.
No, I think it
Those
was,
cameras, I found out, I guess, for the first time, they're not static, they're motion detect. Now, they can be pulled up static, they can be pulled up static from like Chris or Keith. But as it sits right now, it's only operable by.
And there's a 2 to 3 second lag from the time it detects motion to the time it starts.
So, yeah, as of right now, we're not be recording because there's nothing going on. Or you're saying if a cat comes up, whatever, it clicks and it takes.
These people, they said, it's on, it's recording. You know, I just
And
can't believe that.
and Keith had also said that when Crystal's car was stolen, that the cameras were also not operable then either. So
That's right.
I do think that there needs to be some additional conversations about it, especially, I mean,
How much do we pay him a month?
We don't pay him a month.
I think we need,
How much do we pay him?
We just, I don't know what, he
Yes,
doesn't,
and,
not
yeah,
that amount.
well, we'd have to have Julie run a thing on it.
It's in with our other technology, so you know, how much.
That's one thing about it too, is that he doesn't specialize in security cameras. It's something that he's able to work into our IT. Now, I mean, based on what I need him for, I don't need him for criminal, this type of thing. It's usually as someone saying
Either.
someone saying they put their payment in the box or that kind of thing, and they didn't, or, if I see someone out in the barn that's not supposed to be out there, we want to make sure they're not vandalizing equipment, that kind of thing. Get down to wastewater treatment plants, like, so someone doesn't get up on tanks that's not supposed to be out there. It's those kinds of things. It's not, Keith has security cameras in some of the alleys and, around people and stuff like that. So what he's dealing with is a little bit different scenario than what I'm typically dealing
But if the
with.
one down at the water plant wasn't functioning when her car got stolen, that's an issue.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a blind spot over here where it doesn't point this
Yeah,
way, to me is a huge issue. We need a camera on that other corner.
Yeah.
So that eliminates the blind spot, because if we had a camera up there, it probably would have recorded her fall.
Yeah, I give that to live and learn placement cameras. I mean, we all make those mistakes when it comes to that. Well, now we know we need to put a camera over here. My question falls in, or my problem is what Dylan's pointing to. We're told it wasn't there, and then we find out that it was there, and then I didn't hear his conversation on TV, but.
I mean, he straight up said that was a lie. I mean, that was.
Yes, he said, no, that's a lie.
And then show me the video.
Yeah.
But then it's not there because it's not good past 30 days.
Past 30 days.
Which I think he said that they had it saved and all you could see was her, and I think he actually did try to show it to us, but I don't think it was on the screen where we could see it. Cause I'd have to go back and watch it, but he had said that all you see is her drop off her payment maybe, and that was it. Like
It does, yeah, like I said, it doesn't seem like I can recall seeing, it was just 1 or 2 frames of the back of her head and that's motion right there.
That's what you ended up telling them, and then
Yeah.
I don't know whether it had to be after the email.
One thing about our security cameras, you have to be really careful on, if you think something happened at 10 o'clock at night, it might have happened at 11 o'clock at night because it doesn't adjust for daylight savings time. So you do have to kind of, Yeah,
So
Are we under contract? And
that's what I was gonna ask if maybe we should,
I really think
Look
if we,
into-
if we at least should look at a couple of people that this is their living.
so you're saying still keep Jason for IT, but this.
are you happy with his IT work?
I think, yeah, he's been here for like 26 years. I mean, he's been here for a long time.
It started out, it was Eaton Computers that he worked for. And then he went out on his own for a while, and now he works for Midwest IT, which is that his business?
It's his business,
Okay.
yeah.
Julie's questioning whether he's worth anything.
Hey, speak
No.
up.
I mean, you
gotta-
run more
gotta let
computers
us
than
know. We
anybody.
don't hear it.
No, I don't know about.
The other issue I have was, he came to a meeting last fall, which is my assumption, and I guess I shouldn't have assumed, that he was here to explain how that thing works. He stood up, introduced himself. Hi, I'm Jason Flood with Midwest IT. I handle all the IT for the town. If you have any questions, call me, and walked out.
Which by the way is super important.
Well, yeah.
So, you know, that thing is, one of these days, that's gonna get us in trouble, guys. I don't think that's compliant with the law.
Why do you say that?
Look at the quality of the video. The other night at the, park board meeting, nobody knew how to turn it on. They've not been educated on how it works. I'm not very satisfied with that.
That's not, I mean, got it,
I'm not
whoever's.
trying to justify him, but that lies back somewhere else.
Whoever's.
I agree with that too, but I don't think that system is adequate.
I don't either. As far as, I don't know anything about what he does for these guys up here for IT. But the system based on just the police chief in this incident,
The times that you've been out of town and tried to log in remotely where you could hear us, but we couldn't hear you, or we could hear you, but you couldn't hear us, and that's all because of that thing.
Well, Cambridge City went with the TV station. What was that take?
They ended up, no, they didn't go with the TV station, but I think that's like 6,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now what Cambridge City does do is they actually just set up a laptop and they live stream it to YouTube, and then their YouTube is linked right to their website, which makes it compliant with the law.
You know, one thing I will say about Jason, though, if we ever have any kind of issues, either he or someone from his team comes out here very quickly within an hour. I mean, it's extremely good customer service. And I think IT support is one of those things that you don't realize if you have a good one unless you have a bad one. And if you have a bad one, oh my goodness, because I know some of the people my wife has had to deal with her job. And I mean, Jason's very.
And I'm not crapping on Jason, I want to make that very clear, but what it sounds like to me, and again, no jab at Jason,
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like the security camera is necessarily completely in his wheelhouse. The IT stuff, it sounds like it is.
and I wouldn't disagree with that.
I mean, it sounds like he's had a successful business for over 20 years.
to drop the few $1,000s that he's charging us for that, whatever that is, we seek. Like what Brian's talking about, somebody to come in here, tell him what we want, what the police chief wants, what Chris needs, where he needs the cameras at, and then have him shoot his price.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that doesn't automatically take it for accounted for daylight savings time. Let's say we kept somebody on video and prized the box off, the wall walks off with it, and it hasn't updated to change of where either it's standard time or daylight savings time. That creates a defense for that person.
That's all I have about the camera system.
Yeah, that's something I wouldn't even know about, except I've been on cameras before in real time, and that would be like 12:30 at lunch, and it would say 1:30 up in the corner, you know, it's just something that, yeah, it doesn't always try.
No, there's no point in time stamping it if it's not gonna be accurate.
Can you bring back then for our council next week, the agreement, or do we have, I don't know if we have an agreement with them or whatever we have?
I don't know that they're really, I can look at what I have, I think it was something where we just started adding and adding and adding, we added it, you know, 3 years.
Right.
I think.
That satisfy everybody with that? That leaves then
I got one other thing. I had I had a person contact me, I think he contacted Donnie, was gonna try to see if we'd have an interest in selling the property that we own over here by the firehouse.
Use it for anything.
It was quite a bit of training.
Yeah, and is there anything, any discussion about maybe making a bigger fire station at some point?
There was a time
I don't think you're ever gonna
Well, we
find.
have to look at that. I mean, again, I think that's our wish list. No one's proposed a plan,
Right.
even in the near future, that that's gonna happen. The training can be done anywhere if you're doing it there on that grass. If somebody wants to purchase that and put that on the tax rolls versus just sitting there, I mean, granted, if we had a plan here and a fund, or hey, we're gonna rock solid plan and moving forward with a fire station or with a training platform or whatever we want to put over there, I would be hesitant, but on the flip side of it is if we're not, and it's really just been conversation and it's been minimal at best.
Alan, can I ask you a question? Hold on. Really, 10 years from now, what's the state gonna do with volunteer?
oh, we'll be a career, we'll be a paid, or we'll be a combination department by that time.
So,
Cause, and at that point, you will need a
New living quarters and a whole bunch of stuff, yeah.
combination, so there will be paid firefighters at that fire station.
but
I would assume that when we move somewhere down like on State Road 1 or somewhere like that at some point, if it becomes,
Well, that's if the, I mean.
well, it just
and
probably located.
It's,
There's changes coming.
Yeah, it's a whole-
It's coming.
but are they going to pay for all of it, or are they gonna force us to pay?
What do you think, Brian?
Yeah.
I think the hindrance for the fire department or the town all along was we never went after the house that's next to it to have that full half lot to be able to expand or have any kind of plan in place to update that. I mean, you know, the inside of that station, I mean, we're bandaging it at the,
I know, we keep putting money in it. I mean, you know, we how many thousands of dollars into a kitchen.
That was all donated though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's all.
Everybody,
Yeah.
all the equipment, everything was. So anyway, what we're doing over there is like, we're slapping Band-Aids on it that. I don't know, at some point in time, it's gonna have to happen, but is that lot gonna be it? Is that what you're gonna use?
that's why, yeah, we to have that other, but then the other house was bought, and so now we're kind of not landlocked, but.
Is there infrastructure in the alley that would prohibit building across that alley? No sewer lines, water lines, or anything up through there?
And then along the same lines, I know the last meeting we discussed getting the property down on Main Street and having that appraised because Nugent's would like to just trade deeds for the property that they own and the property that the town owns on South Perry Street. You know, has made that
Yeah, the
idea?
way that was left, we were supposed to get a, appraisal on our lot, which I had Alex Dickman do an appraisal on our lot, and Nugent's were supposed to get an appraisal on their lot. I can't remember who they were using as an appraiser. So now we basically just need to take both of these appraisals to you guys to review.
Okay.
And then it would be just an adjustment in either direction if you approved of that exchange.
So let me.
That lot available for sale, as we held that long enough as.
Yes, yeah, it's under the
It's on
same.
there, it's
Yeah,
it's down there.
Yeah.
And it's under the very same program. Well, I guess I'm gonna say this, I mean, if we are gonna build a new fire station and you gotta have sleeping quarters and all that, is that property even gonna be big enough to go in the original, or should we look at another piece of property to put it at where it's really needs to be, and then you've opened up your downtown where you can residence or whatever.
I don't know, do you wanna build a multi-million-dollar fire station in the middle of a residential neighborhood if you're gonna be forced to do it?
Right.
I get it.
Well, I just, we have he called us, he called Donnie, I think, and he called me, and they're very willing to purchase that property at a price that we think is fair. I don't think they're gonna bomb over a price.
Do you know what they're planning on doing with it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
My understanding is they purchased the house or planning or thinking about purchasing the house. that's connected to that.
Mhm.
Therefore, they would like to purchase that.
They have extra lot, extra yard.
That's I don't know what the plan is for it, but I know it'll be attached to, they want that to be part of it.
Kinda like what the people did down on South Perry.
I'm
And that's
not saying that they wouldn't attach a garage to
Yeah.
their house later
Which is
on,
okay.
Yeah, that's.
So is that lot even big enough, just out of conversation, is that lot big enough by town codes, current town codes, to build another house on? Cause I thought there were some places where we tore down houses that are not big enough, the lot's not big enough by code.
Yeah.
There's one guy that would know that answer.
Okay.
Okay. We had to get a variance down on that, place down on that street where that house burnt down. They wanted to put another house back on it and it wasn't large enough.
On the, South Pearl.
I think they had to give a variance for that because it was not.
It's just a matter of getting the variance.
That situation was, wasn't it? I
Yeah.
think they just got a variance for it.
Anyway, I just wondered what the size of the lot requirement is.
So, I mean, all I would guess I'm telling town council is you have a person that you don't have to worry about getting your money. You have a person that's interested in a town lot. And, you know, do we have a, so we talk about, so here's the other thing. So we talked about this revolving. You know, if we get money coming in from something that we take down, then, you know, if we need to demo another house, we would have the money to do that. Well, you know, you have to sell something eventually to have that. So here's an opportunity where you can bring in revenue, put it in a line and let it grow, do something with it. And then if there's another house that has to be taken down, then you would have the funds to do that. And then, I mean.
I think the only question is, and I think Alan, I mean, you're on the fire department currently, I mean, is there a hard rock plan to build the fire station?
Yeah, cause we've never, I mean, direction from council's never been to that point.
And I would have to agree, I don't know if that, you know, building a modern firehouse with living quarters and everything, I don't know if that's the right location for it anyhow. It might make more sense to put it out somewhere on the fringe.
I won't be here, but it'll be amazing to me how we pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, are they gonna force and bankrupt small communities? I mean,
They've tried twice to do away with township level government, and it's failed twice, but when,
Condensing in there.
but eventually that's gonna pass.
that's what I'm saying, you know, we worry about DDC loans, but, you know, are we gonna build something that we're gonna default on?
Or have them lay off employees?
Well, I mean.
You build a $2 million, fire station, you know, and.
Hey, this is just not the fire station.
well,
Fire trucks are gonna be $1 million or
Yeah.
more.
That was $1 million.
And then you get the IFPA involved, you know, and everything has to be compliant with ventilation from the exhaust and everything.
They are forcing us to consolidate, whether we like it or not.
Right.
Yeah, you know, that's just my feeling. It just seems like they're trying to just snuff us out. I mean, how long did it take us to pay for the $960,000 engine? We're still paying on it. So 10 years.
Mhm.
Next one will be 1.3
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
4.
Yeah,
then you can build a nice pole barn for, you know, if you had to build a fire station, 1.5 would probably build you a pretty decent fire station.
Right.
Pole barn style.
in Greensport, aren't they doing fundraisers to try to build a new fire station?
Well, I think they're building, I think they got an order, they couldn't even occupy there for a little bit.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
In the old
It was
school,
unsafe.
yeah.
That was just, so I don't know where we go with that. I mean, they're gonna wanna know I guess we think about it and I mean, you have somebody that wants to purchase it, that's all Donnie, don't you agree they wanna purchase it?
Yeah, I think that's a definite. They want to purchase it. I don't know if they were going to come to council at our next meeting and ask us, and then are we prepared to say, to move forward? I'm hoping
Be
that.
opposed to it, you know, that's, I assume the town employees do the mowing in the summer.
We do, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
And like you said, putting it back on the tax base.
I'm not opposed to selling it. I just,
Yeah, I'm not either.
I wanted to make absolutely sure that we did not have concrete plans for that.
One thing too is the grade change between North Perry Street and, North Plum Street here is a huge
Right.
difference, as far as the slope off on that side, it's probably 10
So you're
foot
saying when
lower.
you build a building in there, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
dig down.
Have to, dig in a basement or something, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not be opposed to that either.
So I
I
guess
think
we,
maybe we can, I mean, can we consult with, and I might know he's sitting here, but, can we also get, their board, not board, but their,
what is it?
what do they call it? The officers, thank you. Maybe get their opinion and their feelings on it. I'm not against it. I like the idea of knowing that it's gonna get back on the tax bill and stuff like that, but I'm not.
I think.
And I mean, if you give us direction to, move on, not, obviously not to move to build, but move to get,
I know. That's the department head's job.
Yeah, that's not council's.
We're not gonna go to department head and say, you
Hey,
need to do this.
would you like us to build you a new firehouse?
Yeah, so, and then again, you come to us with justifications for it. And then, like you're talking about, are we gonna spend millions of dollars of building that? Is it gonna be there? And then 5 years from now, are we gonna have to be consolidated with another township somewhere? So I think that's where all this needs to come into play. I don't think it's all given direction to necessarily.
Just for outside discussion, do we have, or could we, so Chris, that aggravates me out there. Out there by our east water tower, if we would have been given more opportunity to buy, what a nice location that would have been out there to, if we had to build it something new to be right out there. We don't have very much. How much did they deed us off? How much did we get with the tower?
Not a whole lot, probably about the same amount of land that we have for the town hall.
I wonder if whoever owns that around us, if we could purchase, if we talk to them and see down the road, if we wanted to build that out there, if they would sell us it. What would it take? 4 acres? 3 acres?
Wouldn't take more than an acre, I would think.
Well, I didn't know how much room they wanted for training and stuff like that, but if they would sell us an acre or two, just to the east,
Adjacent to the tower.
to the
Yeah.
tower.
I think we better wait and see if we can get a fire station.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
That's a discussion
But-
for.
but I think-
If the firehouse needs to be relocated. There would be lots of options available at that point. But, the reason I asked if there was any plan to build onto the fire station is that would, we wouldn't wanna hold that up. But if there's no discussion about that, then I don't see why we have to hold on to that parcel of land.
well, they was built on if you had the money to let them
But
build
yeah,
on.
but it's not official discussion.
Which, it's interesting, like 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't Reed supposed to build an ambulance, garage and
in
housing
addition to.
addition, right, adjacent to their medical building out there? And that's never seen on that.
Cause I think their ambulance is still stationed at.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good thing going with just really the barn, all the employees used.
Okay.
But even in Liberty, they still have them sitting in a trailer, construction trailer.
Wow.
But, I mean, there is nothing concrete. I'm not saying we shouldn't consult or talk about it, but
I would like Chris to look, what did it actually end up cost? I know we got the grant, but we had some money into
What
it.
we have in it.
I'd like to know kind of-
That's an over grant, I can pull all that out, there's like, I think from 2016, but I can pull.
I'd like to see what we have in it because I would like to get that or more for it.
No, didn't we purchase the house from these people?
But we got reimbursed for it.
Got reimbursed, but-
Yeah.
I don't know if we got.
we still have some outlay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of outlay there.
If I'm remembering, it was, we were given 15 or 20 to purchase the house and 15 or 20 to demolish the house. If I'm- It's just
So we might not have anything involved.
Very little.
very little, yeah.
So,
Very little one.
you could start your fund for another demo or you know, start that.
That's what I suggest you do. If it is, if we get any profit off that, that goes into whatever account we have for that, unless
Make one.
Make one up and
Yeah.
put it for a demo.
So that, we have. If there's always, if there's a state plan or a federal, one was a state, one was a federal, the second one was a federal, that was a nightmare, but if another blight program comes up, we'd want to use it, but if we have a real bad situation, there's not a blight program, it gives us the opportunity to move ahead and do it. Okay, so we want them to come to town council and ask and at least should come and notify us that they would be interested in selling it, and then Chris can get us some numbers, and then I guess, probably won't make a decision that moment, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alan, when's
I don't think we'll have a decision by that one.
when's the next fire department meeting? This week?
We're training about
When you
Tuesday.
get to us, emails.
Yeah,
Do you want me to contact them or you want?
With the white hats and the red hats and see what they have to say.
It's across the street, yeah.
I think they give us 20.
Well, I think the property down on Walnut Street, we got a pretty good amount of money off of that.
We need to look what we sold that for too.
Yeah, I was thinking it was at the 20 or over 20, I don't know.
We ought to ask the same amount of money as what we got for that.
I can look into that too, yeah.
Yeah, we got a pretty good size, so.
So. In the past, does it have to be public for everybody to come bid on it? What would you do with the other properties? Because I don't want to get to a point where we're getting ready to sell something and then have to back off.
Probably going to require an appraisal, probably gonna require.
No, I'd say, I bet you we gotta open it up to the public.
And I agree, you probably will have to get the price on and see why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Definitely, you should have an appraisal.
But how's the other properties been
The
sold?
other program was a bid.
Yeah.
And it had to-
we'd have.
We didn't have appraisal, then, it was bid.
Didn't have to meet a minimum amount.
We put a minimum.
We put a minimum on it, yeah.
Well, but that's how we did the last one.
It's for-
And that's what we gotta do.
Yeah.
If that was compliant. If it wasn't compliant, then we need to.
That's a John Madison question.
I think we better ask on that before we get too far.
And does that grant require different
That
than
we,
that grant?
we fulfilled our grant thing, so I don't think that grant holds
So-
anything.
So it doesn't hold anything over us to require us to do certain things up for disposal of the property.
No, since it was another routine as a green space for 5 years.
Green space for 5 years.
All the 10 years now, so yeah.
And sorry,
So then if we set precedent to sell that, then maybe we probably should follow that again, if it's compliant with what was supposed to
Definitely, yeah.
My assumption it was, or we would have heard about it by now.
Well, we just knew, I think our attorney, and I don't know who it was, it would have been Adam. I mean, we had 3 or 4 people that was interested in it, so I mean.
Is that the Randy Braun building?
No, this was Barbara Beard's property down on Walnut and, Walnut and South Sycamore Street there.
And then we sold Randy Braun our old utility building, correct? How was that done?
I'm gonna get mine. That was a bid.
That was bid.
Okay, I was thinking that was.
Yeah.
One down South Elm Street there. Yeah.
Okay,
I think we've
so
always.
that's just a town property, just like any other town property, with no overhanging branches that dictate you gotta do anything with it other than the bike.
I guess we need to ask him what we're doing with the other green space is the right thing to do.
Well,
Swap. I mean, maybe somebody has an
I
interest in
believe
getting.
he was gonna look into that and see if it was.
I think it was all about getting the 2 appraisals and they had to get one, I had to get one that couldn't be the same appraiser, and then we had to compare and open that up.
I also think he said he was gonna do some research to make sure it was legal to do it that way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so we probably can't have it by Monday, but. I guess we don't need to notify him if we need to figure out what we're caught under and then tell him this is how it's gonna be done.
Yeah,
Then you'll have to get.
and then there'll be a notice time frame, I'm sure, how many days it has to be put up, that kind of stuff, so.
the only last thing this was just a preliminary again to introduce, but Julie, I know you had said, where are we with the lady that was going over the handbook? Cause you said the job description's gonna come after the handbook, right? So we were kind of waiting.
But yeah, there's still some questions. And all that, so I have. But, yeah. There's just some other questions that she has about the police, which I wasn't sure. And another question I wasn't sure about with John, I just know it was real involved and.
That's the insurance company that's looking into that, or what lady's looking into that? Who's she with?
New Focus, she used to work for Richmond. Amara. I don't know, but. She's from New Focus,
Which is what,
it's an HR establishment,
Okay.
yes.
like an
That
HR
very-
management team or consulting,
Yes,
like a
yes, yes.
consulting firm? type
Yeah.
thing? Okay, all right, gotcha, I'd never heard of it, I didn't know what it was.
And so they were doing the handbook first,
Yes,
right? And so they've already gone through that and they just have some questions that we have to
Yes.
follow up with.
and then she'll give a draft and be able to look at it.
And then after that, she's gonna look at the job descriptions, right?
Yes.
And what job descriptions is she focused on? Is it just the department heads that we've,
I think it's everybody,
everybody?
I would think, and
Okay.
So we're kind of in a standstill until we get all that.
Anybody see anything though briefly with the job descriptions that were pressing that needed attention? Or moving?
Are we going through them now?
Now we have them and we know the job description coming up on that and we can begin to carry into the meat of them. So we can set up, this being a preliminary, we can always set up a follow-up to
I,
hit on those.
your job description was over the top. I've never seen a job description that's 13 pages long. I mean, you listed your personal accomplishments and stuff in there, and that's not a job description.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think Keith was just cookie cutter. He cut and pasted from somewhere. I mean, we need to go over all that and go through that. Because it's not just what they think. It's about what our expectations of them are.
Yeah, we just told them that we won that third.
Right,
input.
and that's a starting point, and they both got it to us timely, so I'm not, none about that. I think it's a starting point,
Right.
Yeah.
but. So are we digging into that deep tonight, or we wait until this person's done? Is that what are you doing?
What do we feel from that? I mean, we can,
Cause it's gonna take some time, especially for that one, and then we have to think about what are we gonna put on him.
Right.
Future, or take off him in the future.
so now that we have these, we want to, and we've addressed all the immediate concerns tonight, do we want to set a new date and about, a time frame and have give us an obligation to come back with
Our expectations.
Recommendations from the council, we can then.
Because New Horizons or whatever they are, right? Or
New Focus,
New Focus.
Yeah, that,
They're just giving us the recommendation.
right,
It's not
Right.
mandated.
Right.
sounds like a boilerplate template of here's how,
And I think-
typical, yeah.
That'll be beneficial as we.
they'll update. If there's any changes to, the laws or whatever,
Right.
they'll update.
Yes, because that was the other thing when especially when I was going through his and Keith's, like, okay. Is there any regulations that we are not
Right.
listed in here for either one of them? Any certifications that you should have?
Sure.
Say there is.
Yeah,
Or training mandates for the police department, where are we at? I don't know, all that needs to.
no, I think that's a good idea. And Hagerstown really is a unique community because there aren't very many small towns that have a cemetery and airport, all electric, water, sewage. I mean, it's a unique, so,
You
yeah.
had a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
And then I keep going back to the fact, I think. Anybody that gets a signed check from this town. Answers to him. That's why I see it. He's the town manager. He should have,
Except the.
Except for that.
In that.
that's an elected position, but the town manager. At some level is the town manager. Is he a utility manager? If so, then we need to designate that.
And then is the cemetery part of his utility management? No. Is weed ordinances? No. Cambridge City uses theirs for building code
He's
inspector.
full-time, but he's everything.
Yeah, so I'm like, what more do we throw onto him or what more do we take off? So that's my point. And that's gonna take some work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, if you listen to the big 700, the town manager of Cincinnati, city manager, definitely has
that's the big stick down there.
that's the big stick.
The mayor's nobody, but
Yeah,
That's
the
the
mayor's
big,
just a figure in Ohio.
that's the big stick.
Yeah.
Police department, everything. We're
That's
good.
what we found out in Hagtown, Maryland too. Their mayor is it's a figurehead position and it's the town manager that I don't even know who that is that does all.
And I think if you talk about that, we joke about it, dude, you've got everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you start talking about cemeteries, electric lines, and I just don't know how much more you throw onto that position.
Correct. It's the type of thing that the town manager has to have the ability to step in if anything else. Just like today, we had all the employees working at the base of the water tower where we had a big water leak up here on Sycamore Street. So I went down there, I told the guys, I'm gonna call Cooley Construction and Bob Warner happened to come down. He said, hey, Indian Earthworks just finished doing everything they need. You want me to have them move over to your water lake on Sycamore? I said, and it's perfect. I'll run back. I'll run back, call utility locates, and so, I was able to get that all started up there, and then the guys were able to do their thing down there, so, it's.
I can't imagine, that's gonna take, that's a meeting.
I feel like, I mean, so you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You don't have just one person that does it,
Right.
that does payroll. You know what I'm saying? I mean.
And I think our town employees do that. I see our linemen down in a hole with a back truck on water. leak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Joe can do everything,
I'm like,
but not everybody can do jobs.
We have a very dedicated. Forest was the same way. We're just the same way.
Yeah.
I think we're fortunate we have the workers we have that will just pitch in where they gotta pitch in and do what they gotta
And
do.
a workforce 20 years from now might not be like that, it might be. a little bit
Just about
different.
bet you they won't.
Yeah, yeah, very different, yeah.
About bet you they won't be like that.
Any last points then?
I have one question, and it should be super simple. Have we heard anything from John on the purchase agreement for the truck in Cambridge?
Yes, and that is not remember, we thought it was going to be a whatever, and it's interlocal agreement. It's not an interlocal agreement. I think everything is online and it just has to be approved Monday night and it's ready to go.
Okay,
So,
perfect. They were asking about it. I think they were ready for it, like.
and I apologize for it.
No, it's okay.
I thought that we kind of already had approved it, hadn't we? But maybe hadn't been officially approved. But
I didn't think we knew how the agreement had.
maybe that's what.
I think that's what we were waiting on.
And I think John wanted to look to see how the agreement had.
Yeah.
So it's not in their local agreement though?
It is not an interlocal agreement.
You said it's just an online transfer? Is that what you said?
I'd have to look at the emails between their attorney and, some sort of,
Oh, so him and Bob have been
they
talking?
have been talking back and forth, yep.
Anything else?
So
So just come back next week with an idea of sometime later in April that we can meet, then we'll do this to discuss the job descriptions.
Do you wanna set it?
Is that an
Yeah,
app?
just
We can do
go
that.
now while we're all
That's
sitting
fine.
here. Set the meeting date while we're all sitting here.
We'll have to do 15 emails. And I apologize for the last council meeting, guys. I was 15 minutes. I needed to help my dad do something that required showers for both of us afterwards, so.
Okay.
Normally I'd let you know if I wasn't gonna be here.
You said sometime in like mid-April,
Maybe late April.
22nd or 23rd?
I can do the 22nd. It's a Wednesday. 23rd,
That's Earth Day, man. We could plant a tree while we're there. There's a tree and plant a tree out here. It'd be like
Get on Monday the 20th and we can all just have a good day.
it's Monday the 20th.
23rd, probably Fourth one. Mission for the fire department. Fire department.
No, I could do 23rd.
Either one works for me, and
I'm good the 22nd.
My call.
I think I'm good for either one of them. I have to look that far out. I can.
We'll put one.
I'll call the 22nd.
22nd.
So,
It is.
so that's the
6:30.
that's the third week. So when does plan come?
Or Wednesday, the
For-
21st.
Yeah, the planning's 21st.
Oh.
So planning's 21st.
Is that a special meeting?
Yes,
So what day did you choose?
22nd, Wednesday.
We got 2 days in a week.
So whoever,
Sorry, Brian, that's my fault.
whoever sends out the emails to remind us, thank you. I don't know if it's you or somebody, but
So
that
then
far
I'll
out.
try to get with Jason for that 20.
All three of us can get together, right? And then kind of clean. Cause it has to be what, 5 of us, 4 or 5 of us?
I just think we need to get him,
Probably.
well, he is the president. We need to give him a heads up what town council's thinking.
Because the plan commission full,
We're -1.
We are -1.
Yeah, they
is
just,
that township people, county people?
I think that's what Tom was working on, because he wrote down a list of everyone who was on planning commission and everyone was on the BZA, because we've lost a few, some people
Right.
moved. So he was getting the list and making sure where we were needing
The
people.
BZA is totally separate from
Yes.
planning.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, you cannot serve on both.
Just
Yeah,
one.
fine.
One person.
If I'm thinking correctly, when Bob Warren from the county into the town.
That's-
that-
Yeah.
We need
We need
one
another
in the county.
county position.
For
The planning commission.
planning commission.
I don't
And does
know.
that have to be 2 Mile Fringe or the county?
I think that.
2 mile.
2 mile frame, that's what we're missing.
Yeah,
That's
Right.
been
I
the
think
two.
that's correct, yes, because I think it's Tom Lieberman and then it would be whoever the rest would be other 2 people.
That's supposed to be.
There's 8, right?
I have it.
Seven.
That's-
Is it 7 or 9?
Can't ever remember.
It's
'cause
nine.
we-
It's not.
It's
Yeah.
hard, so
Yeah.
they divided up equally township.
No, there's 2
Mile
right
Fringe,
from the
yeah.
fringe.
2 mile fringe gets 3.
That's
Yeah, we
like
added-
3.
that's
That's what we
yeah.
did, 3.
That's what I was wondering. It's
So-
how they divided it.
So how that goes is, town manager
Uh-huh.
sits on it,
Mhm.
2 town council members sits
Uh-huh.
on it, Dylan and I. Then there's 3 from the 2 mile fringe. So that's 6. So there's 3 in town,
Okay,
3 citizens in
so
town.
3 appointees.
3 appointees from the county,
3 appointees.
Oh, from the 2 mile fringe, 3 appointees from
Okay.
the county.
Okay.
So it's 3, 3 and 3.
I think that's correct, yeah.
Cause we just balanced that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's just, then only one person on the plan commission can be on the BZA. And I believe that, is that you, Dylan? No. Who is that?
No,
Chris Snow
Chris
Snow.
yeah, Chris knows, yeah.
is on the BZA
Yes.
for us.
Okay.
And I don't know who picks the rest of
I have those lists somewhere.
And that BZA board, how many's on there? About.
it. So
You don't-
I think there's 5.
5.
I think when I was on it. there was
How are
5.
they divided? Is that town, is it?
I think there's a mix, but I don't
Okay.
know what the mix is
I don't
between
know.
town and township.
I just sat on that one term. 1 2-year term, so I sat on, and that's been a long, long, long time ago. And I sat on it as a citizen.
Okay.
That's what I sat on, as a citizen.
How many times do you meet, just out of curiosity?
The BZA,
Or I mean, how many times did Brian meet when he was on it? Because some people meet none or
yeah,
one.
it's all.
We only had, we
Yeah,
only
it's
had,
been for variance.
we only had, you know what? I sat on it for 4 years. I sat on it 2 years as a citizen. And then I got on the planning commission and I sat on it 2 years for the planning commission. And I think in that time period, we met twice in 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
So there's very little zoning and land usage variances being done.
Most of, yeah, it's mostly all variances.
Yeah.
It's all of it. They're always coming for a variance.
And it doesn't sound like there's very many of those.
Sometimes there will be, but yeah, like you're saying, sometimes there might be 3 in a year or something like that, but most of the time there might just be 1 of that.
I think that's why they have, I wish, and that's probably state regulated. I wish them terms would be more than 2 years so that, you know, I think people, they don't meet much, they get it, I'm not
They
gonna
get
serve
bored
on,
with it and then.
and I'm not gonna serve on, and then you're always just trying to find somebody constantly.
If you beat them up though, if it goes the other direction, then no one's gonna want to serve on it either.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been properly seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We done.
Please.